Have you heard of the Portland Metro Backgammon Club? If not, keep watching because my good friend Mark Danburg-Wyld joins me in this video to discuss the Portland Metro Backgammon Club. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, what you'd like to see in future videos, and I'll work on it. If you love backgammon, you can become a member of this channel, giving you exclusive access to the most popular videos. My book, Backgammon Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is also in the description. Again, in this video, it's my great pleasure to welcome back my good friend, Mark Danburg-Wyld. Hello.
Hi, Alex. Thanks for having me back. Nice to see you again.
My pleasure. Likewise, it's a pleasure to see you. How have you been?
I've been doing well, thank you. Yeah,
Good. And how are you doing today?
a little under the weather, just getting over a cold, but
Oh,
but I'm on the upside from it. But if I start coughing, it's nothing to be alarmed about.
yeah, yeah. Hope you feel better.
Thank
It's
you.
the season. We're
Yeah,
going around. Uh, so last time you joined me, we were talking about your book. So maybe we could take a brief moment to talk about how that's going. You were saying the sales are going good.
yeah. No, it's been selling well. I think I'm still in the stage of trying to get the word out about the book, but it's I've been very pleased with the feedback I've gotten from people. People seem to enjoy it, and so it's really satisfying to me to have contributed in some small way to the backgammon literature. So
Great, great. So for the viewers that haven't watched the other video, can you take just a brief moment to tell us about that book, the title and everything?
yeah, absolutely. Thank you. It's the book is called Rigged Dice: A Backgammon Adventure, and that's is in a choose your own adventure sort of a style thing. So the theme of the book is that it's a one game of backgammon, a money game. So the opening page, the first position you look at is an opening roll, which no spoilers, but you win the opening roll, and then it says, okay, do you want to play it this way or do you want to play it that way? And depending on which decision you want to make, it tells you to go over to this other position or to that other position. And when you go to that position two, there's two choices for each of those, and then there's two choices for your third position, and then for your fourth. So it's basically it plays out like a whole game, and so it took quite a while to convince myself that I could even get that condensed down into something that would fit into a paperback book, but ultimately was able to do so, and it's kind of fun to play. You can I've seen somebody post saying, hey, yeah, I got it right after only two tries. It's like, good for you, buddy. That's great. It's like it takes, but it is fun to play. It's also you can just then afterwards go back and open it at random and kind of play out a game from whatever random position, and so it's kind of a fun way of exploring the rhythm of a game as part of a puzzle book. So I hope people enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a great book. I very much enjoyed it. I highly recommend it to the viewers. I'll put a link in the description. It's available on Amazon. So that makes things easy. You can just order it and it arrives pretty quickly.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, Very good. Well, thank you for that. And then we'll talk about the Portland Backgammon Clubs. For the viewers to get to know you a little bit, we'll start with a little bit of background biographical information. Please tell us where you were born and raised and what kind of work you do now.
Yeah, thanks. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. Most of my family still is there. Both my sisters and my parents are now in Houston. My little brother lives in Austin, so I'm going to get that far. So I'm ended up the furthest away of anybody. Um, Professionally, I'm an actuary. So though I live in Portland, Oregon, I'm currently the chief actuary for Health New England, which is based out of Springfield, Massachusetts. So I work East Coast hours, but live on the West Coast and telecommute every day. So my days start early, but end early as well. So
A lot of the occupations nowadays are remote, which is
yeah, yeah. It's new for me to be like fully remote. I've always been kind of um, habitually I'm the in the office guy and like being able to see people and all that kind of a thing. So it's been a little bit of a learning curve for me, but got introduced to all that through the pandemic, and it's not
right.
that big of a learning curve. But anyway, yeah,
Very good. You have a family yourself?
yeah. I've got my wife Jennifer, and we've got two children, two daughters. They're both grown and out of the house now. Um, my Older is a Montessori teacher up in Fern-Dishington, getting ready to get married next summer, so that's very exciting. And then my
Congratulations.
younger is a librarian at the University of Washington, works for the math and science libraries there, and so they're both not too far away, but not popping in every day either, kind of a distance. So we can get to see them pretty regularly, and that's always a joy for me. So.
Great, great. Happy to hear that.
Mhm.
Excited to talk a lot about backgammon. Before we do you have any hobbies or interests outside of backgammon?
I enjoy other types of puzzles as well. I kind of consider backgammon to be a continuous stream of puzzles in some sense, right? But I enjoy other types of puzzles as well. And a big reader. I enjoy I read a lot of like classic literature kind of things these days, mostly. So uh, um, sometimes it takes me longer than others. I've been reading a book called Life and Fate for the last like 6 months. It's taking me forever to get through, but it's a really really good book. Anyway, but yeah, those are my main hobbies, and then I do a lot of exercise and things like that to try to as I'm getting older, I've got a lot of deferred maintenance that I'm trying to undefer at this point. So it's, but that's more out of I feel like a necessity than like I just really enjoy lifting heavy things. I do enjoy lifting heavy things, but it's it really feels like it's kind of a something I have to do in order to like feel good on a daily basis at this point. So.
Very good. So how'd you get into backgammon?
Well, as I said, I'm an actuary, and so as part of the training for to get your credentials as an actuary, you have to pass a series of exams. And so I was doing that from roughly 1999 to 2008, I guess. Yeah, that was taking exams every 6 months or so, and um, so that meant that I was studying various actuarial concepts or learning all the various legal aspects of different types of insurance and that kind of thing for 20 or 30 hours a week outside of my normal work week. And when I was done with that, then I just had like this a lot of pent up energy. Like I'm just used to like working a 70-hour week, but I only had a 40 hour a week job. So it's I needed a hobby really badly. And so backgammon kind of rose to the fore as like there was at the time a forum called the Actuarial Outpost that had like a games and diversions section, and somebody had posted on there around the same time I got my fellowship in the Society of Actuaries about what's a good hobby for somebody who doesn't feel good about chess, and backgammon was on there, and I remembered playing it as a kid and started playing again, and didn't really get serious about it until I moved to Portland. At the time, I was living in Eugene, Oregon, and uh, shortly thereafter, we moved to Portland, and it was an opportunity to kind of meet new people because I didn't really know anybody in the area, and started getting more serious about it once I was playing face to face with other human beings instead of just playing against the computer.
Great, great. So you've been playing for a while now. What would you say you enjoy the most about backgammon?
Oh, I'd say the intellectual challenge of it is really um, powerful for me. Like I'm not that good to be honest, but I've come a long way. So like I knowing like where I was, 6 or 8 years ago, and like how I can play now, I'm like almost infinitely better, and not literally infinitely better. I'm a my PR is probably half what it was back then, right? So it's and so my hope is that if I kind of keep at it in another 8 years, my PR will be half what it is now, and then I'll be actually pretty damn good. So it's a but the fact that it's something that I can continuously improve on as I keep working at it is very satisfying to me. It's very achievement focused kind of a mentality. So like I can get better at this. Great, let's do it then. Yeah, that's
That's great. One of the things I've learned is when you write a book, you actually learn a lot, and that improves your game itself. Did you find that with writing your book?
I'd say it definitely there were some aspects of it that yeah, it's the challenge with writing the book was that um, coming up with sequences where the next decision that the player would have would be equally challenging, if not more challenging than the one that they had before. So, as you know, oftentimes the game kind of resolves into, oh, you're on the bar and like the other person just moves and, it's all over. And that does happen in the book a couple of times, but I just skip ahead when it does. I kind of say, okay, you're on the bar for I don't know how many moves, but the next time you have a choice to make, this is what it looks like. But for the most part, I tried to make it literally if you hit, then if you got hit, that you entered, but then you had a challenge with what to do with the other number and things like that. So thinking about how to set up a position so it would be a challenge for the other player is actually a great thing to think about over the board when you're playing. Like, it's like how do I move this in such a way that whatever happens with my opponent's next roll, they're going to have a decision to make. So, I mean, obviously the idea of duplication comes up with something like that, right? How do I play so that, okay, well, you can enter with a four, but you can also do something else with you could step up with the four or you could hit with the four, and then you have to decide. So that's probably better than like doing something else where I'm not sure what choice you're having to make. So, yeah.
All right, well, that's great. So let's talk a little bit about the Portland Metro Backgammon Club. So, how long has the club been around?
So the club predates me by a good amount. I've been in Portland since 2014, but the club was established in 2009, is my understanding. When I moved up here, it was September of 2014, and a guy named Rob Ingram was running the group at that point. And uh, he was also responsible for another meetup group. It was a motorcycle riding group, and after I'd been around for a couple of years, he pulled me aside one day and said, "Hey, you show up every single time, and like I'm tired of running two groups. So how would you feel about taking over the club?" And so I said yes, and so I kind of took over running the club in December of 2016. So and I think they're going to pry it from my cold dead hands one day, kind of a thing. So I really enjoy doing it, and really enjoy the community that's kind of built up around it. So
Oh, that's great. How often do you meet right now?
so there we have a every month we have a strictly social meetup that's actually hosted by one of my players, Sandy Flynn. She uh, really loves playing, but she's like older and on a fixed income and doesn't want to pay the tournament entry fees and whatnot. And so she asked if she could run like a social meetup for the people that just want to play for, casually. So we have that every second Sunday of the month, and then we kind of have a fall to spring season that we have monthly tournaments. So that's usually runs like September to May or June. That'll have a monthly tournament series that's running. And then in the summers, I do something that I call the Tour of Patios. So that's through our regular season, we meet at a bar called Lucky Lab on Hawthorne in southeast Portland. That's very popular with game groups. So there's usually a Go group and a Scrabble group that are there at the same time that we are. But um, uh, in the summers when it's sunny and nice, then I like to get us out and go to different bars than our sort of home base and play on the patios out there and kind of expose new people to backgammon. So I printed up some flyers where we can like hand them out when people walk by and say, "Hey, backgammon, I used to play that," or "Oh, my dad plays that," and I can give them a little flyer of how they get in contact with us, and we've recruited some new players that way. So it's that's kind of fun. So and then of course we also do have almost weekly chouettes, but those aren't things that I run through the meetup page. They're more informal for the handful of degenerate gamblers that want to do that. So
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So, how many people usually attend your events on average?
I'd say a good turnout for us is in like the 2 dozen range. More average is probably, 14 to 16. So for the tournaments. Um, I guess I should say, actually, there is one other thing that I should mention. Besides the monthly tournaments, I do have an annual championship tournament, and I hold 4 qualifying events for that as well. So I have it separated into a men's and women's category in order to try to encourage more female participation in competitive backgammon. And so, my goal is to take the top 2 winners from each qualifier and have a field of 8 for the championship. And so we've been doing that for about 3 or 4 years now, and that's been very, very nice. It's a trophied event and like prestige and whatnot kind of a thing. So we have that on top of our monthly tournaments. I forget your original question, but I did want to make
How
sure I
many people
mentioned that.
show up for the, yeah, you
Yeah. So how
mentioned
many people? So for the qualifiers, I do tend to get a slightly larger turnout because people are interested in the trophy, and I carry over the entry fees from the qualifiers to the prize money for the championship, so it ends up being like the biggest purse of the year. So it's people are motivated by that as well.
that's great. Well, I have a personal initiative to get more people to play backgammon, and in particular, underrepresented demographics such as women and youth. What percentage of the players would you estimate are women in your group?
Let's say, well, on the Meetup site, I've got almost 1,000 members on
Wow.
there now. It's like 960 something, I think. And I would say probably 45% of them are female. Um, but on the casual meetups, that one is female dominant. That tends to be probably 8 to 12 players, and maybe a couple of guys are showing up for that one. For the competitive events, I've got like 4 or 5 females players that are more serious and will show up very regularly. But that one does tend to skew male, so it's probably 70-80% male on average for the tournament events. But flips the other way on the casual events. So I'm trying to figure out ways to help bridge that. So I try to go to the casual meetup things and do lessons and try to encourage people to think about playing in the more tournament structure. But a lot of them are just, well, I'm just here for fun, and that's fine, of course. But I do want to have an open avenue for people that are interested in making it more competitive. So.
That sounds consistent with other things that I've heard. For example, a lot of these social groups that get really large turnouts, there may be about 50% women or maybe more. But in our group where it's more competitive, it's more like 10 to 20% women.
Mhm.
So, the different things. Some people like the social aspect of it, some people like the competitive aspect. And I agree, either way is good.
Yeah, yeah. As long as people are having fun and like that's all I really care about. But yeah, I do just try to think of ways of creating more opportunities for everyone to play whatever their motivation.
So this is the Portland Backgammon Meetup group. So tell us a little bit about that because Meetup is a good website, but I guess like it depends on where you're located. Because we did one in Los Angeles and it was like good for a few weeks, but then it didn't gain traction. How is it for you?
Yeah, so Meetup I kind of inherited. So that was the method that they were using to organize the group before I took it over. And so a little bit, I just feel like I'm kind of stuck with it because that is where, I've got 953 members. That's a lot of people I can contact. And so and it does work for what I want it to do. I can schedule the events, I can send emails to the members. We don't really use the discussion forum very much. I've been very inconsistent about posting photos to it. But it does okay for listing the events and sending calendar reminders out to people. So it's a I would say I'm not thrilled with it as an organizational tool, but I'm not aware of a better one that I could try to migrate to at this point. So
Yeah, it looks like it attracts people, so people find you through Meetup and they show up, right?
yeah, no, I would say it's rare that I don't get a week goes by that I don't get one or two new people joining the group through Meetup. So it definitely has a high discoverability aspect to it, but not necessarily a high conversion factor. It's like I said, okay, almost 1,000 members, but there's probably more like 80 or 90 people that will come to an event in a given year. So it's not that everybody is uh, playing, but at least at some level they have an interest in backgammon in the Portland area.
Now, this one is the Portland Metro Backgammon Club blog. So tell us about this one, please.
Yeah, so this one I've been doing for quite a while. I think I might have set it up even prior to taking over the club. I'm not sure how far back the archive goes there, but I've been using it as a place to post results from events or post about what happened at an ABT event if I went to one, and the people that are in the club all um, there's a good number of them follow it. So yeah, September 2016. Been around longer than I've been technically running the club. I usually just do like a quick write up of this is how in the tournaments I tend to do them as multiple brackets. Multiple 8-person brackets instead of having everybody in one big pool, just so that it finishes more timely. But then I also try to include positions that come up that were interesting, um, if one happens. So um, so yeah, the one you've got up there is a nice one actually. That's from a match I played against one of my top players, Julie. Yeah, underneath there, you say she said she had Howard's voice in her head. That's Howard Markowitz. He's recently moved to the Portland area and has been coming to our meetups for the last year or so since he arrived here. He's been really great for the club, and like getting to play him is like a kind of a prestige thing for a lot of players to be like, oh wow, I got to play Howard Markowitz. That's so cool. So, um, but uh, so I like to post a position or two if I can of that are interesting, just so there's a little bit of backgammon content as part of the blog post as well.
And this is your Instagram. This is a great social medium to get new people.
Yeah, yeah, this is a newer initiative for us. We've been had that going for maybe a year and a half. Actually, my wife handles the Instagram for me for the most part. So I take pictures of the different events and then just send them to her, and she gets them posted up here. So yeah, more pictures from the tour of patios, picture of my cat watching backgammon on TV. Picture of Paul Swain on Jeopardy. So he was
Yeah, this is the one. Paul is one of the members, and he was on Jeopardy. That's great.
yeah, yeah. So that was exciting. But yeah, so it's been nice. People are following it. It's been a little bit of a source for discoverability for us as well, for people like learning about the group. So yeah, um, post ads about like upcoming events and that kind of a thing. So oh yeah, pictures of my T-shirt. We had T-shirts made. That's new
Oh,
this year
those
as
are the
well.
t-shirts.
Yeah. So I
Nice.
created T-shirts with it says Portland Metro Backgammon Club in circles around the picture of the um, lady rolling the dice in front of a board there. So
Wow, that's great.
yeah.
All right. Well, Mark, that was great. Sounds like you've got a great group, lots of different media to use to find people. How would you say people find you most commonly?
I think that well, I mean, I've had people discover us from just walking by us, from the USBGF website, and from Meetup. Those are like the top three ways. Say that. Um, we're pretty easily found if you just search Portland backgammon. We're probably going to be your top results. So it's a lot of whether that finds us to the Meetup site or to the blog or whatever. Hopefully, all of those help lead people into actually showing up to play. So
Well, that's great. That's great. Hopefully, maybe one day you can have like a major tournament, national tournament. Wasn't there, didn't there used to be one in Seattle, if I recall correctly?
yeah, when I first moved to the area, that was the first ABT event I went to was a Seattle ABT. That also happened to be the last Seattle ABT. So I have had discussions about hosting an ABT event in Portland. And in fact, I went so far as to start talking to hotels and trying to make arrangements. Um, uh, but then I went from being retired to unretired and decided that I didn't have the capacity to try to manage that at this point. So my hope is that I will re-retire at some point in the not too distant future, and I'll try to revive that as a plan to bring an ABT back to the Pacific Northwest. I think we definitely should have one.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, great. Congratulations. Thank you for all of your efforts on the Portland Metro Backgammon Club. Was there anything else about the club that you wanted to discuss that we didn't get a chance to?
No, I think that we covered it very well. Thank you, Alex. It's hopefully somebody will now add your YouTube channel as a way that they discovered the club. And come out and join us and play.
I found some interesting stories about like people watching my videos. I'll tell you one story. I did a video to promote the FTH boards with my friend John Perner, who's the
Yeah.
president of the USPGF, and he's also the distributor. Uh, and he was telling me the story of the maker. His name is Fazil Terlemez, from Germany, initially from Turkey. And he is disabled. So he told that's the story of his disability. And apparently, like months later, John told me that somebody watched the video and donated some thousands of dollars to his cause, which
Oh, wow.
was great. I mean, it meant a lot. That wasn't the intention of the video, but I'm glad, to get like some sort of charity. I mean, I didn't get any of it, but that wasn't the point. It's like
Yeah.
I'm
No.
glad
Yeah. Yeah.
he did. So that was nice. And hopefully with this, people will find it and they'll be able to join the Portland Club.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, knock wood. Hope so. All
Yeah.
right.
Great, great. Well, good luck. Best wishes. Any final comments before we conclude the video?
Just thank you again for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about the club. It's a great group, and hope that some of y'all can come out and join us.
It's a great pleasure to have you. It was a pleasure to learn about the Portland Metro Backgammon Club. You have an open invitation to return at your convenience. Maybe we can play a match one time with you or any of your members in the future. We'll go ahead and conclude the video. Thank you to the viewers for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, what you'd like to see in future videos, and I'll work on it. Again, if you love backgammon, you can become a member of this channel, giving you exclusive access to the most popular videos. My book, Backgammon Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description where you can get it. And if you're interested in the lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is also in the description. I look forward to seeing you in future videos, and until then, keep rolling your dice.